Okay, good afternoon. Next Sunday there's no shiur because it's Purim. But on this Thursday, Tanis Esther, we have a double feature with no popcorn. This Thursday we have a class at 2 o'clock.
You can't even bring your own.
Right. This Thursday, 2 o'clock, Tanis Esther, we have a shiur on Amalek, how to make enemies. That's at 2 o'clock. And at 3:45, the second double feature, 3:45 is Esther, is sin a virtue? Esther committed adultery with the king, is sin a virtue? So this Thursday, a double header, 2 o'clock, Amalek, how to make enemies, 3:45, Esther is sin a virtue in honor of Tanis Esther. We have a double feature. The shiur is for Refuah Shalema, for Yehuda Chaim ben Esther Sarah, Refuah Shalema. And it's for Leila Nishmat Lahavdil ben Chaim L'Chaim, Leila Nishmat Sidov ben Chaim Pesach, William and Helen Rochel Bas Yosef, David ben Avram, Fred ben Richard, Yitzchak ben Sarah, Devorah Bas Yitzchak, Avram ben Mordechai David, Reuven ben Shmuel, Shannon Bas Elchanan, Yeshua ben Shmuel, Chana Golda Bas Yisrael, Chaim ben Fega, Yaakov ben Yitzchak, Mordechai Netzach ben Rivka, Rachel Bas Yosef, Eliezer ben Yaakov, Chaim ben Gedalia, Zalman Lei ben Moshe, Chaim Eliyahu ben Yosef, Moshe Amichai ben Yaakov, Gedalia ben Tzvi Ruvain, Leila Nishmatam, and Lahavdil ben Chaim L'Chaim, Refuah Shalema, Yehuda Chaim ben Esther Sarah, Refuah Shalema. Ma nishtana Megillat Esther from all the other Megillas. There are 5 Megillot. What are the other 4? Kohelet, Ruth, Shira Shirim, and Echa. Ma nishtana Megillat Esther from the other Megillot. What? It's the only Megillah that you read twice. You read it twice. The other Megillas, Kohelet, you read when? On Sukkot once. Echa you read once, Tisha B'Av night. Ruth you read once, Shavuos morning. Shir Hashim you read once, Pesach. Ma nishtana Megillat Esther. It's the only Megillah that you read twice. You ever wonder Ma nishtana? You can't ask the same Ma nishtanas every year. So why is Megillat Esther different, Moshe, that you read it unlike the other Megillahs twice, once at night and one in the morning? What's the answer? So my humble opinion, the answer is Megillat Esther, it's not enough to read it only once. You got to read it, sleep on it, and read it again. Because if you read it once, it looks like a mikra, a string of coinky dinkies. Esther happened to win the beauty contest. Mordechai just happened to walk by when the Bixam Aseris were plotting the king. You read it once superficially, it's a mikra, coinky dinky. Sleep on it, mull it over, and read it again. And then you'll see what looks like a mikra. Rearrange the letters mikra. What do you get, Evelyn? Rakmei Hashem. What looks like a memkof reishe mikra. So you have to read it again. What looks like a coinky dinky, a mikra, is after a good night's rest, a second reading. It's not mikra, memkov reishe, but rearrange, you get what? Rakmei Hashem. It's all God pulling the strings. But you read it once, Chava, no, it looks like a mikra. So you got to sleep on it, read it again, and now it's not a mikra, it's Rakmei Hashem. Now, why do we continue to read this Megillah 2,400 years later? Why? Why are we still reading? Now you have to remember the Megillah, we read it in 40 minutes, Chava, but from the time that Esther won the beauty contest until Haman was safely hanging on the tree was 9 years. 9 years. Only at the end did all the jigsaw pieces come in together. She wondered, Esther, why is this happening to me, a good Beis Yaakov girl? I have to win the beauty contest? Aren't there prettier girls than me? What does he see in me? 9 years later, when Haman was safely on his tree, did she realize, aha! But this is the way God operates. All of us are writing our own Megillah, do you know that? Whether you know it or not. We're all writing our own personal Megillah, the long and winding road, with all the twists and the turns. And we have to connect the dots. It's not easy, but that's the challenge, Moshe. Connecting the dots of the book of Esther. Now, the book of Esther doesn't have God's name in it. It's the only book of the 24 books in Tanakh that doesn't have God's name in it. Why is that? Because when you read it carefully, you don't need God's name. All of the events are God. Wearing the mask. You don't need his name because everything that happens there, Yechiel, is really what? Peekaboo. God is there. God is wearing a mask. But our tafkid is to what? To remove the mask. The question is, how do we do that? The question is, how do we do that? Now, it's interesting that when it comes to Amalek, the word machar keeps reappearing again and again. In Parshas B'Shalach, Amalek attacks. The Torah says, Hilachem be'Amalek machar. We're going to go to war against Amalek machar. What's wrong with today? Machar means tomorrow. In the book of Esther, Esther says, Machar Esther kedvar hamelech. Tomorrow I'll do what the king says. And Haman says, the gamla machar. What's this tomorrow business playing out in the Megillahs, Amalek and Parshas B'Shalach? That's the game plan of the Yetzer Hara. Amalek is a symbol of what? The Yetzer Hara. We all have the Yetzer Hara. Who knows what evil lurks? The hearts of men. Moshe, Amalek is the Yetzer inside of us. That's the Amalek's game plan, the Yetzer Hara. I know I should stop speaking Lashon Hara, but I'll wait till tomorrow. I know I should go on a diet, but I'll wait till tomorrow. I'll start my diet tomorrow. And guess what? Tomorrow doesn't come. That's the Yetzer Hara's game plan. Tomorrow. I'll start studying Torah tomorrow. Right? I'll start davening with a minyan tomorrow. But just like the diet doesn't come tomorrow, you know. So that's the Yetzer Hara, i.e. Amalek's game plan, and we have to be aware of that. Now, the shir is called Purim, be happy with your lot. Purim means what? Lottery in Persian. Strange, because Haman threw a lottery, went to kill the Jews, and happened to come up when? An Adar, and today is Zion Adar. Leila Nishmas Moshe ben Amram. So just because Haman threw a lottery, went to kill the Jews, we have to call the Yom Tov lottery? Very strange. Purim, the message is, Yochanan, be happy with your lot. Why should I be happy with my lot? Why? Because all of us are custom built and designed by Hashem. How do I know that? The first message to Paroi, Pesach is coming up, in Exodus 4. Koyomar Hashem, B'ni B'chori Yisrael. The first message that God says to Paroi, B'ni B'chori Yisrael. My child, my firstborn is Israel. We're not just God's child, we're also what? His firstborn. A family can have 19 children, but they can only be what? One firstborn. So Exodus 4, the first message, B'ni B'chori Yisrael. My child, my firstborn is what? Israel. So I should be happy because I'm not just God's child, I'm also his Bechor. How do you say that in English? Firstborn. And I'm also custom built and designed by Hashem. So Adar, Purim, is the time to think about that. Be happy with your lot because I am a special to God. I'm so special, Elisheva, that God is my personal respirator. Should I repeat that? God is my personal respirator. Now, how do I know that, Yechiel? The last verse in Tehillim. Now, we know Achron Chaviv. The last verse in Tehillim, Psalm 150, saving the best for last. That's why Avini's table comes at the end of a meal. Saving the best for last. The last verse in Tehillim, Kol Anshama Hallelujah, Hallelujah. What does that mean? Says the Gemara in Brachot, Al Kol Neshima V'Neshima Hallelujah. Every time I breathe, who is my personal respirator? Hashem. Wow, if you inculcate that, how could you not be happy with your lot? Wow. So therefore, Mishenechnas Adar Marbin B'Simcha. The word besimcha, you rearrange the letters as b'machshava. If I think about that I'm so special, I'm custom built by Hashem, and God's my personal respirator, as King David says in the last verse in Tehillim. So therefore, when I think about that, I should be marben besimcha. The word besimcha, rearrange the letters, get machshava. So this month, we read and repeat the account of the Mishkan over and over again. Not once, not twice, but 4 times. Over and over again. Dafke the month of Adar. Adar is from the same root as Dira. Oh, you didn't know that, did you? What's the Mishkan all about? God says, V'osali Migdash, build me a Dira. Get it? And these pashas of Truma, Tetzava, Yaakov, Ikud are always read in the month of what? Adar. And you didn't like that, right? So the word Adar, people don't know what it means. It's from the word Dira. This month we read the 4 pashas where God keeps repeating, V'osali Migdash, build me a Dira. How do you say Dira in English? An apartment, a resident. Now, God's Dira, He commands us to build it with animal skin. Animal skin. Why? Says Lubavitcher Rebbe, when you look at this Mishkan built out of animal skin, it's a reminder, I've got you under my skin. I won't give up my day job, don't worry. I'm sure. When you look at the Mishkan built out of animal skin, says Lubavitcher Rebbe Zatzal, not Shlita, Zatzal, it's a reminder that God doesn't dwell in the animal skin tent. That's just a dugma. How do you say that in English? An example. He dwells under my skin. And when is the month where He told us to build Him this Dira? Adar. Therefore, the month is called Adar. Build me a Dira. So when I think about that, how could I not increase simcha? Mishenechnas Adar, marben b'simcha. Megillat Esther means legalot et Hester, to reveal the hidden one. Who's the hidden one? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the hidden one. Now, in this world, we're playing a game. We're wearing a mask, and God wears a mask. Our mask is my bodysuit. And God also wears a mask. The tafkid of Purim is to remove God's mask and say, God, you can't fool me. I know it's you pulling the strings. Peekaboo. To see through. Like when you wear the gorilla mask. I'm not the gorilla. You have to look behind the mask. That's our test in life. To be fooled that things are all mikre, coinky dinky, or just like the gorilla is not me, just like the bodysuit is not me, it's only a mask that covers up my godly soul. So God also wears a mask. What's God's mask called? Hateva. How do you say nature in Hebrew? Hateva. And the gematria of Hateva, Evelyn, it just happens to be what? Elohim, coinky dinky. Hateva. Nature in modern Hebrew. The numerical value is what? Yechiel? Elohim, 86, Elohim. So God is wearing the mask of nature. But we have to see through the mask. Not to be fooled. Not to be fooled, right? Now, we just read Pashas Shkolim. We're going to give Machtas HaShekel on Purim night. We're going to give Machtas HaShekel. Right, Nachama? Why Machtas HaShekel? Pashas Shkolim, you only give half a shekel. Why? Who's the other half?
Hashem.
Hashem. Ooh, you're beautiful. There's a pasuk in Deuteronomy 32. Ki chelek Hashem amo. God is a portion of His people. God is a portion of His people. So, chelik Elohai mimal. There's a pasuk in Job 31 that all of us are a portion of God, but a portion. So I give a machtas hashekel yechiel that I'm half. Who's my other half? Who completes me? The big boss. so happy together, reunited, and it feels so good. That's why Adar, you're supposed to be marben b'simcha. Wow. Therefore, Mishnechnes Adar, marben b'simcha. And that's why you give the machtas a shekel when? Pashush Golem and Adar. To realize who I am. Wow. Now, it's very strange. In the Megillah, Mordechai, who is Mordechai, Yechiel? The chief of the Sanhedrin, one of the Nevi'im, the Anshe Knesset Hagdolah, and he's called Mordechai HaYehudi. Mordechai, the Jew boy. Now, Evelyn, you would call Moshe Feinstein Moshe, the Jew boy. Moshe, the Jew boy. Mordechai, one of the Anshe Knesset Hagdolah, one of the 48 prophets. A Navi, Rosh Sanhedrin, and all they can call him is Ish Yehudi, Mordechai, the Jew boy. Nechama, you don't think that's strange? Huh? You don't think that's strange? You don't think so? You call Moshe Feinstein Moshe, the Jew boy. What's the message? The idea that we're talking about. Since I'm a chelik Elohai mimal, since I'm part of God, and I'm so special to God, I don't need any titles. The very fact that I'm a Jew is enough. Ish Yehudi. I don't need any titles. I'm B'ni B'chori Yisrael. I'm God's special firstborn. I'm part of God. Well, once I inculcate that, Ray, I don't need any titles. Ish Yehudi is enough. Pretty interesting, huh? Ish Yehudi. That's all. That's all I need to know. Now, we know that what? Purim. You have to be happy with your lot. That's the legacy. The legacy of Purim is to be happy with your lot. Now, let's think about that. The Gemara in Chulin says something very strange. Haman min ha-Torah minayin. Where is Haman found in the Torah? Now, how could Haman be in the Torah? The Torah was given centuries before Haman existed. Right? Haman min ha-Torah. How could Haman be in the Megillah? I mean, in the Torah, I'm testing you, right? Megillah happened centuries after the Torah was given. So the Gemara says, Hamina eitz. Genesis 1, God tells Adam, Hamina eitz, did you eat from that tree? So Haman and Hamin is what? The same letters. What is the Talmud playing? Musical letters. Haman, Hamina eitz. What's the message over here? Haman had it all. A beautiful large family, the prime minister of Persia, money, wealth, fame. He had it all. But could he enjoy it? No. There's this one Jew sitting at the city gate, and he said, all of my glory, all of my fame and fortune is worth nothing to me as long as I see that dirty Jew sitting at the city gate. And he doesn't bow down. Why can't you enjoy what you have, Haman? So the Talmud is comparing Haman's Aveira with Adam. Adam had it all. All the beautiful trees in the garden he could eat. Could he enjoy it? No. Because what was he focused on? That one tree. There's a pasuk in Mishlei, Mayim Genovim Yimtaku Avram. What does that mean? Mayim Genovim Yimtaku. Stolen waters are sweet. All the trees in the garden he could eat. But he couldn't enjoy it because the Yetzer Hara said, no. What's forbidden is sweet. So Adam's chet was Haman's chet. Haman, enjoy what you have. What do you care about Mordechai? So it destroyed him. He couldn't enjoy and appreciate what he had because of Mordechai. That destroyed him. The same thing with Adam. Adam had it all. One tree he couldn't have. So he couldn't appreciate what he has because he focused on what? What he can't have. That's Satan's, that's Amalek's game plan. It destroyed Adam, and it also destroyed what? Haman. Purim's legacy, be happy with your lot. Yechiel, get it? Purim lot. If Haman was happy with his lot, he wouldn't have been destroyed. You have so much going for you, Haman. Wealth, family, fame, fortune. But no. What I can't have, I can't enjoy. What I do have. That was Hamin Ha'etz. That was Adam's downfall. The Eitz Hara kept giving him a bad hair day. So that's the message. That's the message of what? Of Purim, to be happy with your lot, unlike Haman, and unlike what? Adam. And therefore, of all the mitzvahs of the day of Purim, the most important mitzvah is Matanas Levyonim. Matanas Levyonim is the most important mitzvah, says Rambam, giving gifts to the poor. You hear this? Giving gifts to the poor of all the mitzvahs of Purim is what? The most important. Why? And the Rambam says whoever gives gifts to the poor on Purim resembles God himself. You hear this? Now this should have been in Hilchas Tzedakah. What's it doing in Hilchas Purim? He goes over again and again how important it is to what? To give gifts to the poor and those that are forlorn on Purim. And whoever does that, says Rambam, is compared to the Shekhinah. Why? Why is it so important? Should have put these laws in Hilchas Tzedakah. How do you appreciate your lot in life? People complaining, this is no good, that's no good. If you go and see how a poor person lives, and you give him tzedakah, you'll appreciate what you have in life. So Matanas Levyonim is so important to give gifts to the poor on Purim because it helps me, Moshe, focus on what? How much I have compared to what the person doesn't have. That's pretty interesting, right? So, the Talmud tells us that even if all of the Yom Tovim will become canceled, Purim won't become canceled. Strange medrash, if all of the Chagim will become canceled, Purim will remain forever. Very strange because Purim is not even a Torah mitzvah. The other Chagim will become canceled and Purim, a rabbinic law, will remain. Now, we know that this is a metaphor. It's not halachic part. Remember, only the halachic part of the Talmud must be taken literally, Evelyn. This is Agadah. Medrash Mishlei, Medrash is not to be taken literally. Only the halachic part of the Talmud must be taken literally. This is Medrash, not to be taken literally. But what does it mean that all of the Chagim, theoretically, if they're canceled, Purim will remain? What does it mean? It means, if you think about it, Shelley, all of the Chagim are contained in Purim. I'll prove it to you.
It's a holiday of joy.
And not only that, all of the Chagim are contained in Purim. Now let's think of the first Chag, Rosh Hashanah, right? Rosh Hashanah, it's written down who will live and who will die. On Purim, all of our lives were hanging in the balance, just like Rosh Hashanah. Who will live and who will die? Yom Kippur, it's sealed who will live and who will die. On Purim, God also sealed the fate. Haman had our fate, who will live and who will die. So you have Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur contained where? In Purim. What's the next holiday that's coming up? Pesach. What is Pesach all about? Cherut. Freedom from what? Slavery. Purim, we got freedom from death. Isn't that more important? So even the aspect of Pesach is contained where? Pesach, we have Cherut, freedom from slavery. On Purim, we received what? Freedom from death. What comes after Shavuos? Shavuos Chag Matan Torah. Kibul v'kibul ha-Yehudim. The Talmud tells us that on Purim, the new Kabbalah Satorah. Did you know that, Chava? The first time was a shotgun wedding. In Virginia, they call it a shotgun wedding. God said, if you don't say I do, it's all over, right? But on Purim, we received the Torah again, this time, b'simcha b'hava. In fact, that's one of the reasons you're supposed to have a meal on Purim, to celebrate what? The new Kabbalah Torah. You didn't know that. There was a new Kabbalah Satira on what? On Purim. But instead of coercion, this time Bahava B'Simcha. So you see that, Nechama, that even Shavuos is contained where? In Purim. Matan Torah. What comes after Shavuos? Which one I forgot? Sukkah. That's the last one. I didn't forget. The last one. Sukkot. What happened on Sukkah? What happens on Sukkah? The millionaire and the pauper, they have to sit under the same frail, rickety hut. The millionaire and the pauper, right? The same rickety, frail hut. What's the symbol? Hashgacha pratios. God has each of our destiny in his hand. Whether you're a millionaire or a pauper, you're sitting in the same frail, rickety hut. That's Purim. God held our destiny in his hands. So you see all of the Chagim, what, are actually contained in Purim. Now, was Haman good for the Jews?
Yes.
Very bizarre. The Gemara in Megillah says that Haman was good for the Jews, right? Because the 48 prophets came and they all said what? Do tshuva, and the Jews yawned. Comes along Haman with the final solution and all the Yidden became Haredi. So in a bizarre way, Haman did more for the tshuva movement than what? Than all the 48 prophets.
That's what people say about Hitler. That it's Israel. I mean, not Israel.
Yeah.
Which is not true, but that's what they say. That it was formed because of...
Well, there never would have been a state of Israel without the Holocaust. Everybody agrees to that. There never would have been. So in every tzara, in every nega, there's an oneg. Nega. Nun gimel ayin, rearrange the word nega. What do you get? Oneg. So in a bizarre way, Haman was what? Was good for the Jews. And therefore we drink on Purim, Yehuda. It's absurd. It doesn't make any sense. I need a Haman to get me to become Baal Tshuva? We drink to remind us in a ridiculous, twisted way, we owe our continued existence to whom? Otherwise, the Jews would have assimilated completely in Persia. They would have disappeared completely. So in an absurd, bizarre way, Yechiel, we owe our existence to whom? To Arafat, to Haman. I can't stay sober. It's too painful to inculcate that fact. We need the stimulus of wine to celebrate our victory over Haman. He arose because of our desire to assimilate and become more Persian than the Persians. That was right. Now, the Jewish people, incredible. If it wasn't for Haman, the Jewish people would have disappeared. But Haman forced us back into the fold. It's just incredible. Whenever the Jewish people think that what? That Chutz La'aretz is it, when they get too comfortable and too cozy in Chutz La'aretz, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to remind us. Haman and the anti-Semitism in the United States now, what do you think? It's a reminder. The Jews are getting too comfortable and too cozy in Teaneck, New Jersey. When you get too comfy and cozy in Lakewood, right? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu reminds us we don't belong in Lakewood or Teaneck or Borough Park. If you don't get the message, when the Jews forget that they're Jews, they think they belong in Los Angeles, so God will send a message, whether it's Paroi, Haman, or Ahmadinejad, right? Or what's going on in the United States to remind us that we don't belong in Chutz La'aretz. Don't get too comfortable, not even in Staten Island.
That's right.
And the Jews don't get it, then Hashem has to send a reminder, right? It's incredible. It's just incredible, right?
That's what Rabbi Simcha said in 1927.
That's right. The Jews said earlier, Rabbi Simcha said in 1902, he wrote the Or Sameach, those Jews that say that Berlin is the new Jerusalem will bring a Holocaust on the Jewish people. He wrote this 1902. Rabbi Simcha. You hear this? Those Jews that say Berlin, that's what they said. Berlin is the new Jerusalem. They will bring a Holocaust on the Jewish people. Nebuch. So we just don't get it, Chava. We just don't get it. Some people never get it, right? Now, it's just amazing. Isn't it bizarre to call a cookie after Haman? Imagine a Hamantash. An Arafat cookie? Who would buy an Arafat cookie, Evelyn? Huh? Would you buy an Arafat cookie? Or Ahmadinejad cookie? So why do you a Haman Tashin? Why is Haman Zoiche, Moshe, that we call a cookie after him? Again, in a bizarre way, if it wasn't for Haman, the Jewish people would have assimilated totally. So in a strange, bizarre way, we owe him our existence. When he took off the ring, the king took off the ring to give it to him, the final solution, the Jews started to shape up. Otherwise, they'll be shipped out. So we name a cake after him. Pretty bizarre. That's also why we get shicker. I mean, can't stay sober. That I owe my existence to Arafat? I can't stay sober. I got to get shicker. Right? Right? Now, it's amazing. If you count the letters in Megillat Esther, there are 12,110 letters. You don't believe me? You can count. There are 12,110 letters in Megillat Esther. So what, Yechiel? So what? I'll tell you so what. If you count, Esther is spelled Aleph, Samach, Tov, Reish. If you count in the first Aleph in Bereshis, there are many Alephs. The first Aleph in Bereshis, count 12,110 letters, you'll get a Samach. Count from that Samach another 12,110 letters, you're going to get what? A Tov. Count another 12,110 letters, you get what? A Reish. Isn't that unbelievable? Now, how could Esther be spelled out in the exact amount of letters that are written in the Megillat Esther? Megillat Esther was written centuries after Kabbalah Satorah. You had how many centuries? At least 9 centuries later, at least. At least 9 centuries later. How much is 33 minus 24? 9. So how could the Torah have anticipated? Ray, it gets even better, but bear with me. 12,110 letters in Megillat Esther. Aleph, Samach, Tov, Reish. The name Esther is skipped. Aleph, Samach, Tov, Reish are interlude, 12,110 letters. Now, isn't that incredible? It gets even better. Mordechai, Mem, Reish, Dalit, Kaf, Yud. Mordechai, right? If you take a Mem in the Torah, the first Mem in the Torah, count 12,110 letters, you get what? A Reish. From that Reish, count 12,110 letters, you're going to get a Dalit. From that Dalit, count 12,110 letters, you're going to get a Kaf. And guess what? From that Kaf, you count 12,110 letters, you're going to get what? A Yud. That means Mordechai and Esther, the 2 heroes of Megillat Esther, are encoded in the Torah 9 centuries before Megillat Esther in the exact amount of letters that the Megillat Esther what? Can that be a coinky dinky? No, who says this? The Neitler Rav, Rav Dov Weissmandel, in Toras Chemed. Please hear me well. This man jumped from the train of Auschwitz. He survived, a great Mekubal, founded a yeshiva in Mount Kisco. And he, in his book, Toras Chemed, without a computer, in his Kabbalistic word, Toras Chemed, tells me this, Rav Weissmandel, Zechat Tzaddik Avracha, where he counted the letters in, that's why the rabbis are called Sofrim. What does Sofrim mean? Writers. No, what does Sofrim mean? Count. The rabbis count the letters. So he counted 12,110 letters in Megillat Esther, and Esther and Mordechai are encoded in the Torah. The letters spelling out Esther and Mordechai are exactly 12,110 letters. Now that's just incredible. You hear this? Not just Esther, but Mordechai. The great Rav Weissman Zatzal, in his book, Kabbalistic word called Toras Chemed. The rabbis are called what? Sofrim. Hafochba v'afochba de kulaba. What does that mean? Turn it over and keep turning it over. Because Masha, everything is in the Torah. Everything. Everything is in the Torah. You just have to know how to count or where to look. And therefore, one letter of it, how many letters are there in a Torah scroll? 304,805 letters. You don't believe me? You can count. If one letter is missing, the entire scroll is puzzle. Ray, why? It's only one letter. Because it throws off the whole count. Actually, every letter is the name of God. The Ramban says that every letter in the Torah scroll is the name of God. So how many names does God have, Nechama? I just told you. 304,805, because every letter, says the Ramban, in the Torah scroll is actually what? A name of God. So it's not just one letter missing, it's a name of God missing, so the entire Torah scroll is what? Pasul. Now, Purim. You have to drink until you fall asleep. Now, the great Baal Soloveitchik, you can check with Rav Yitzchak, he would take a little bit of grape juice and go to sleep. You hear this? And Rav Aaron Soloveitchik also, grape juice. Because he says the Iker mitzvah is not to get shikr, the Iker mitzvah is what? Fall asleep. You look at the Rambam, the Shulchan Aruch, and the Ramah, they all say that after you drink, you have to go to sleep. Why, Lillian?
Because you shouldn't drive.
So the great Rav Soloveitchik said, on Purim, you have to sleep like a baby. When a baby goes to sleep, does he worry about anything? He knows when he cries, Mama or the Papa will be there for him. On Purim, you have to sleep like a baby. When a baby sleeps, does he have a worry in the world, Evelyn? He knows Mama and the Papa will take care of it. You know, last night I slept like a baby. I woke up crying every hour. Oh. I think it was pretty funny. Oh. Moshe, no? Okay. But Rav Soloveitchik said this is the idea that Hashem is my Abba and my Ima. God is my Mama and the Papa. And I can sleep like a baby, peacefully. That's the message of Purim. You know, in Judaism, a manja. They tried to kill us, we won, let's eat. All the Chagim. Why is that, Masha? Ever wonder? They tried to kill us, we won, let's eat, right? Well, to answer this question, we'll have to know, why isn't Judaism manja? Why? On Purim, there are 6 mitzvot. Do you know that? Let's count. Megillah, to say Al Anisim, to read Vayova Yamolek in Parshas B'Shalach, Matanos Levyonim, Mishloach Monot, and what's the last? Achron Chaviv, Suda Im Yayin. Suda Im Yayin. Now, why is Suda with Yayin last, the Chama? Saving the best for last, right? So push it, because if you have the Suda and Yayin before, you'd be too shikr to do the other mitzvahs.
Fall asleep.
Right? You fall asleep, right? Sleep like a baby. But on a deeper level, you know, whenever there's a Chag, Shabbat, Yom Tov, you finish a tractate, you go to a Brit Milah, there's an incredible amount of Kedusha in the air. Love is in the air. There's extra Kedusha in the air from the Chag, finishing a tractate, a Brit Milah, Shabbat. There's a tremendous amount of Kedusha being showered from heaven. So the Neshama absorbs that Kedusha. But the Guf says, what am I, chopped liver? I also want to participate in what? In the Kedusha. Shabbos, Bris Milah, Chagim, right? Finishing a Masechta. The Neshama is absorbing this extra Kedusha that's being showered from the event. But the guf says, what about me? What am I, chopped liver? By eating, feed me, by eating the chopped liver, or whatever, I think it's called spiritual osmosis. Ooh. How does the guf get to participate in the chag? Or in the finishing the Masechta, or a bris milah, the extra kedusha? So therefore, by eating, the neshama gets to absorb and transfer the kedushas hayom from the neshama to what? To the guf. Wow. So therefore, you wait. You don't have the meal at the beginning of the day. First you do Megillah, Ala Nishim, Matanat Levionim. You do all of those other 5 mitzvot. Now, at the end of the day, Evelyn, you're ready for the transfusion. Not the blood transfusion. You're ready the food transfusion, where the Kiddusha from the Neshama, Yochanan, gets transferred to what? To the body. How? Manja.
With one.
Therefore, the guf, the body also gets to participate in the event, or saving the best for last, right? Saving the best for last. Now, we have to be extra happy. Sleep like a baby. You know, Psalm 22, Ayelat HaShachar. The Talmud says it's speaking about Esther. What does Ayelat HaShachar mean? The morning star or the dawn. So the Talmud says that just like the morning star signals what? The end of the night. So Megillat Esther is the end of the Bible. So Esther is called Ayelat HaShachar. The morning star signals the end of the night. Megillat Esther signals the end of Tanakh. That's it, closes Tanakh. So in that Psalm, Psalm 22, which deals with what? Esther, she said, Eli, Eli, lama zaftani. My God, why have you forsaken me? She said, Esther said that. King David anticipated her a few centuries before. My God, why have you forsaken me? Can't you figure out another way to save the Jewish people? I have to submit myself to that pagan drunk? A good Beis Yaakov girl like me? She said, my God, why have you forsaken me? We don't know God's plan. But there's a very strange Rashi in that Tehillim 22, which deals with what? With Purim. Rashi says something incredible. Shahametim b'shat netilat neshama royin penei hashchina. When a person dies, he gets to see the face of God. Now, what does Rashi from left field come in with that? Rashi says in Tehillim 22, Rashi does not get Kabbalistic normally in Tanakh, one of the rare cases. When a person dies, he gets to see the face of God. That's what Rashi says. What's it got to do with Tehillim 22? Tehillim 22 speaks about Purim. In this world, we wear a mask. What's the mask called? My body. Don't confuse me with my bodysuit. When a person's wearing a gorilla mask, I'm not a gorilla. Don't confuse me with my mask. So my body is not me. It's only a mask that I wear. I'm masquerading. I'm a godly soul. So in this world, I wear a mask. It's called a body. And God wears a mask. What's his mask called? Hateva. He hides behind the mask of nature. But Rashi says when a person dies, he takes off his mask. What's his mask? The body. And he takes off his mask. The game is over. See, in this world, God is playing peekaboo with us, or hide and seek. It's a game. Masquerading. We wear a mask, my body, and God wears a mask, hateva, nature. But when a person dies, he takes off his mask, and God takes off his mask. The game, I think it's called The Jig is Up. The jig is up. The game is over. Pretty interesting. Now, Zechariah, who lived at the time of Mordechai and Esther. Why you should be happy on Purim? Zechariah, who lived at the time of Mordechai and Esther. The English say Zechariah. Israel was in ruins, desolate. And he says something incredible. Zechariah chapter 8, remember at the time of Megillah. When Israel was in ruins, Israel was not only physically ruined, the place was empty of Jews. Only 42,000 came here. Millions remained in Babylon, Long Island. Says the prophet Zechariah, Kayamar Hashem. I'll read it in English, no Arabic. Thus says God, yet old people will fill the streets of Jerusalem, and old and youngsters will play in the streets of Jerusalem. You hear what he's saying? Now when he said that, it looked like he's off the wall. Old people and youngsters will fill the streets of Jerusalem. The place was ruined and desolation. And he says, Ki yipale be'enei sheret amazeh. It'll be a pele. A wonder. Wonder of wonder. That the streets of Jerusalem will be filled with old people, youngsters playing and having a great time. It's a pele. Bayom Mahaim. What does Bayom Mahaim mean? Today. But he said that 2,400 years ago. It's now or never. Then it's Bayom Mahaim. But now, Moshe. Now listen to this, Moshe. He's speaking, God is speaking to him. Gam be'enai yipol enum Hashem. You think it's a wonder, says God. Gam be'enai. What does that mean? Even in my eyes, yipaleh. Num Hashem. God said it's a pella in my eyes. I don't believe it. Hear what God is saying? When God said this to him 24 years ago, it looked like a pipe dream. Yiddish Leah. So God said, this is a pella. We're living this prophecy. Go into the streets of Jerusalem. Old people, young people, children laughing, screaming. We're living the prophecy. God said, it's a wonder in your eyes. Gam be'enai. Even in my eyes, God said, Yipaleh, Num Hashem. Appreciate the pele. Therefore, you have to be what? Don't worry, be happy. Where am I and where is Titus? Where is Arafat? Where is Abu Mamzer and Haman? Where are they? But we're here and thriving. That should make me very, very happy, Evelyn. That should make me very, very happy. Mishenechlas Adar, Marben b'simcha. This is the time to speak about it and to think about it. Adar, Dira. This month we read Nachamul and Nachamul. How do you say it in English? Again and again, the Parsha of the Mishkan. Once is not enough, 4 times. Truma Tetzav Yaakov Begida, to build God a Dira. That's why the month is called Adar. God wants little old me to build him a Dira. That should make me very happy. This month you're supposed to think about that. Wow. Now, isn't it strange that Purim is the only holiday? Can't we all be on the same page? I'm mixed up. The 14th, the 15th. When should I celebrate Purim? Why is the rabbis mixing me up for? Chanukah's the same time, right? All the Chagim are the same time. Yechiel, what's it all about? A person that has to read the Megillah on the 15th can't read for somebody on the 14th, and a guy who has to read on the 14th can't read on the guy on the 15th. I'm all mixed up. Can't we be on the same page? Don't you think it's bizarre? Why do rabbis want to confuse me for? To answer this question, Yisrael Baruch, we have to what? A Jew always answers the question with what? Why not? Such a great miracle. Haman, Arafat, with their kids hanging from the tree, the Jewish people killed 75,000 terrorists. I think the UN will be too happy about it. The Megillah said that we didn't negotiate, we killed 75,000 terrorists. Such a great miracle. Why don't you say Hallel? Isn't it strange? All the other Chagim you say Hallel. What am I, chopped liver? Oh, So Rabbi Yaakov gave the answer. Says the Gemara Megillah, no matter how great a miracle it is, it didn't take place in Pisgat Zev. I live in Pisgat Zev. It didn't take place, Rechavia. Didn't take place in Israel. Didn't place, so therefore, somehow it's what? Defective. Great miracle, but it didn't take place in Israel. It took place in Babylon, Long Island. In Persia.
Well,
Let's think.
never thought.
50 years before Haman came, Cyrus Vance. Koresh gave the order, Jews, go home and rebuild the temple. I will give you whatever you need. 50 years before Haman, Koresh gave that order, and only 42,000 answered out of millions. God said, what's with you people? Koresh is backing you financially, politically, encouraging you to build a Beis HaMikdash, and you refused to come. You remained in Paras, so God had to raise up what? A Haman. They remained behind. It's a knas. How do you say knas in English? A fine, a penalty. You guys had no reason to remain in Babylon and Paras. Koresh, 50 years before Haman, had given you permission, financial support, political support, to go and build a second temple. And you remain behind. I have to send a Haman to wake you up. So therefore the rabbis say you don't deserve to celebrate on the same day. You don't deserve to say Hallel. You had no business remaining behind in Shmutz La'aretz, in Babylon and Paras, that I have to raise up a Haman. 50 years before Haman, Koresh said, go home and build the Beis HaMikdash. And nobody was interested. So as a penalty, God had to send Haman, and as a penalty, there's no Hallel, and the biggest penalty is you can't even celebrate on the same day. If you want Achdut, you want unity, Evelyn, where is it? Only Eretz Yisrael. What a powerful message. Kibu v'kiblu Yehudim. The Megillah says all the Jews accepted the Torah willingly, not like a shotgun wedding. Remember, Moshe? B'ahava, b'simcha. We all became Haredi. How come Mashiach didn't come? Isn't that strange? All the Jews became Haredi. Shas, National Religious Party, they all became religious. So why didn't Mashiach come? So Chabad say, because the Rebbe was not born yet. No, that's what they really say. But I think the real reason is they stayed behind. We can be good from Jews in Borough Park, in Babylon, Long Island. So therefore, Mashiach didn't come. And therefore, the second temple was doomed to be destroyed. Look at the Gemara in Yuma, page 9. Now, keep in mind, Yechiel, Yecheskel had already given the diagram of the Bayit Shlishi. How come Ezra and Nehemiah didn't build it according to that? Why? Because they knew that the Bayit Shlishi is going to be what? Forever. Forever. When only 42,000 Jews came back and millions remained behind, they knew from the get-go that this second temple would not stand. There would be the second temple could have been the last temple. If enough Jews would have made Aliyah on the Ezra and Nehemiah, we had a Mashiach 2,400 years ago, and the second temple would have been the final temple. But no, some people just don't get it. They remained behind in Paras, in Bavel, and therefore Nehemiah and Ezra knew we cannot build this according to Yecheskel. We know it's not going to last. And 420 years later, it was taka destroyed. So the Jews at that time prevented Mashiach from coming. And unfortunately, the Jews today, the Vilna Gaon says that Mashiach cannot come unless the majority of world Jewry come to Israel first. So they got it backwards. In Borough Park, they say, I'm waiting for Mashiach. But the Vilna Gaon says, no, Mashiach is waiting for you. The Vilna Gaon says Mashiach cannot come until the vast majority of Yidden come first home, and then Mashiach will come. But they got it mixed up. They're waiting for Mashiach in Borough Park. The Vilna Gaon says Mashiach is waiting for them. Therefore, he sent all his Talmidim here. He himself tried to come here, but he got shipwrecked. Because the only way to bring Mashiach is Yidel by Yidel. One Jew, every Jew that makes Aliyah brings Mashiach one step closer. But some people just don't get it. Yes? Go ahead.
I heard this, somebody told me this in the name of the Vilna Gaon. The Gaon said, if there are 600,000 Jews in Eretz Israel,
Right.
there's no possibility that they will ever get thrown out again. And in 1948, there were 600,000.
That's right. 1948. How many Jews left Egypt? 600,000. How many Jews were here in Jewish state in 48? Can that be a coinky dinky? The Jewish state was born in the secular year 1948. When was Abraham born? 1948 from creation. That cannot be a coinky dinky, Moshe. The first Hebrew, the first mitzvah Abraham got was not Brit Milah, was what? Come to Israel. And he was born in 1948 from creation, and a Jewish state in 48. Yechiel, that cannot be, I don't think it could be a coincidence, right? I don't think it could be a coincidence, right? So Megillat Esther, it's the only book that doesn't have God's name in it. You hear this? And the Rambam says when Mashiach comes, all the books of Tanakh will be canceled, except Megillat Esther. Isn't it strange that the only book that won't be besides the Torah and the Talmud, which is forever, all the books of Tanakh will be canceled. The only book of Tanakh that will remain with the Chumsha Torah is what? Megillat Esther. So Rambam says, in the Gemara, Megillah 16 says, it's like the Torah, it'll attain Torah status. Why? The only book that doesn't have God's name will become as holy as a Sefer Torah. It will last forever, unlike the other books of Tanakh. Because we said before, Yechiel, you don't need God's name. If you read the Megillah carefully after a good night's sleep, therefore it's the only Megillah you read twice, you see every event is God. Peekaboo! I see you. You can't fool me. So when Mashiach comes, the mask will fall off, and I'll realize that the Megillat Esther doesn't need God's name, because every word is actually what? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, pulling the strings. Thank you very much. Thursday we have a double header. Thursday in honor of the fast. We have a fast and a double header. Next Sunday there's no class, because it's Purim. But Thursday we have a double header. How to make enemies, and is sin a virtue? Esther, is sin a virtue? And how to make enemies. Thursday double header. 2 o'clock and 3:45.